Yes, everyone. How's it going? Expecting some dramas on live. I think it's the internet in the apartment. If it's too bad, I'll fuck it off and we'll start again. But how's it going? Hope you're all good. A little bit of a break in the football feels nice, doesn't it? Ready to get back in the mixer very, very soon with the football. But it is what it is. Let me know what you're thinking in the comments. Let me know any questions that you've got, and we will get into all of this lot. And we'll see how it's going. Hopefully, the internet is good enough that we can actually get this broadcast on the go. Let me know if you're struggling and you can't actually see it on your end, and I'll see what I can do. I've just had to mess about with settings for like 10 minutes to try and make it happen, so I'll do my best. Okay, so there is a report in The Athletic today from Laurie Whitwell, and it goes into loads of detail on potential bidders for United. Well worth a read, as it always is from Lauren. There's loads of different potential bidders have been rated. And there is a section that got a lot of people excited where it's talking about Amazon being mooted as a possibility by someone close to the talks. Now, I trust Laurie implicitly, and I think he's someone that has got his fingers on the pulse and he's been getting some scoops. This could be one of them. We obviously all want the club sold. We all want it out of the hands of Amazon. Sorry, out of the hands of the Glazers, reading ahead there. But Amazon are a Premier League broadcast rights holder. Now, for those of you of a certain vintage, old enough like myself, to remember the B Sky B bid. The B Sky B bid, from a fan's perspective, I wasn't 100% sure. I was 15 at the time, 14 at the time it happened, and 15 at the time that they actually came back and cancelled it. The Monopolies and Mergers Commission blocked it on competition rights, and they said like it would be unfair for the world's biggest club or the nation's biggest club and the biggest broadcaster in the sports to have a too big a say in what was going on. United being one of the clubs that gets a vote on what happens with TV rights. It's kind of a little bit of a conflict of interest. When they sit down to negotiate the new TV deal, Manchester United having a vote is one of those. And on one hand, I mean, I know multiple reasons why you would have issues with Rupert Murdoch as an individual and News Corp as an organisation owning Manchester United, but Sky and ultimately News Corp and Rupert Murdoch ahead of them. I wasn't 100% sure at the time, and I've tried to look into this, and I'm still not 100% certain of why fans were as opposed to it as they were. I can understand it from the Monopolies and Mergers Commission reasons. I understand those reasons. I think that's one of the things that I would look into with it. But Amazon, being a Premier League broadcaster, for me is the exact same circumstances as what Sky was literally 23 years ago when they were trying to buy the club. The deal actually got botched in April of '99, I think it was. Think it was just before the semi-final of the FA Cup when they decided it was anti-competitive and blocked by the government. If only the government managed to block it in 2005 when the Glazers try to do that. So what do we think about Amazon bidding for us? On one hand, Jeff Bezos owning Manchester United, if it was Jeff Bezos the bloke is one thing, but Jeff Bezos, the owner of Amazon, and Jeff Bezos through Amazon owning Manchester United. On one hand, you're like, it's unlimited money. This guy is just making so much cash. United would be weighed in beyond anyone's capabilities, and it's probably one of the only ways Manchester United could compete with the likes of the oil clubs. Dean B says, wasn't it because he was owner of the Sun too? I'm sure that went into a lot of people's thinking, but from what I can read and the things that I've looked into and all the rest of it, I haven't seen anyone bringing up the fact that he owns the Sun. I mean, the Sun owning Manchester United is sickening thinking, isn't it? But it never really seemed to focus on that. It seemed to focus on Rupert Murdoch as an individual. I'm sure it was playing a part in people's thinking, but I couldn't actually see that as reasons. And like I said, being 15 at the time, you're not really politically motivated. And this is before the internet and stuff, so you're literally relying on the newspapers to talk about it. And guess what? Some of those newspapers, obviously owned by News Corp, are not going to talk about the negative aspects of all the rest of that sort of stuff. Will the same attitude apply from the government in 2022? It's a different government. It's a farce of a government, to be honest. Notch says, from joking about Bezos owning United 6 months ago to actually discussing reports on it. Yes. Could Amazon do what the Saudi families have allegedly done in buying Newcastle and have another part of the company that isn't related to the country or the state? Another part of the company that isn't related to the Premier League rights owning United instead? Could they create a new company? Could they create Bezos Soccer Company Club and own us through that? I would see no reason why they could not do that, in all honesty. I think it was the fact that Sky was buying United as Sky. And this isn't crazy, by the way, because I think Sky actually owned 9.9%, because I think 9.9% was the amount you could own in multiple different clubs without it being considered a conflict of interest. Granada owned 9.9% of Liverpool, if memory serves me correct. And you had other clubs that had minority stakes by broadcasters at the time as well. Very interesting. Initially, when you look at this, it looks like it would be unlikely allowed to go through. But the fact that Sky was the majority broadcaster of Premier League rights back in 1998-99, Amazon is a minor Premier League broadcaster. So there is already quite a large difference in that. And the world has changed. The Premier League is now a global product. There is no longer the requirements for the subscription model the way it was with Sky. I actually could see this one going through in a way that you couldn't see it back in 1998, 1999. And not only that, the fact that for what's going on, the way Amazon packages up its TV, I think if you're just an Amazon Prime member, which is what, is it $7.99 a month? You get all of their sports packages. Now, clearly, I think if they was to have a bigger stake in Premier League, then they would probably start charging more money for that. But one thing I've personally found with the delivery of Amazon as a broadcaster is their broadcasters are pretty good. They have a pretty good selection of presenters on there, and the ease of using it is very impressive. Anyone who's got a smart TV or even a Fire Stick or anything along those lines, navigating your way to find the football, actually quite straightforward, isn't it? Let me know what you guys think in the comments. King Remembered in Time says Granada had like 5% of Arsenal back in the day. Yeah, I can't remember who and what and when, but I do know that loads of people had that as well. Chris says, I've loved all your vlogs. Would be worth doing when back home. I got a big plan for 2023. A big plan's probably overselling it. I got a plan for what I want to do in 2023. I'm going to be creating a second channel. On that second channel, I want to do some travel vlogs. I want to do some fitness challenges. I want to do the weight loss journey that I've been on. And I might bring back the Stephen Howson podcast where I can talk to whoever, and it doesn't have to be football related. I've also going to expand what I'm offering on Patreon. Be vlogging the different trips on there. I'm potentially going to put full episodes of podcasts on Patreon and just post clips on the YouTube channel. The behind the scenes of some of the documentaries I want to do. I'm thinking about doing like top fives of rums or beers or things to do in Manchester or just random carnage. And we did a fan meetup yesterday, which I've never done before, and very out of my comfort zone doing that because I still can't wrap my head around why you lot even fucking watch me or want to take a picture with me. So very, very strange for me to do that, but I was blown away by the support that we had yesterday. I had a really cool time hanging out with everyone that we did yesterday. And a couple of lads that came suggested that we went and go and do some shooting afterwards. And honestly, it was a great day. Did that yesterday, and I've done a similar thing today where we've gone and done a tour of an RAF base here in Qatar. met some of the troops that are out there. Had a really cool time being shown around the Typhoon Eurofighter jet. Brilliant. And I'm going to continue doing that. I think it's been really cool. We're going to do a little meetup for Dublin for the live show. I'm going to do a meetup with all the patrons just before that stuff. And I might be keeping doing it. The United Way says, should call it Howson Does. I'm going to call it Howson IRL. So Howson in real life is what I'm going to call it. Ocean says, Amazon Prime might actually be influencer friendly. Maybe. Footy Gangster says, you are a smart man. That's why. Sometimes. I'm in moments. Joel says, United Way says, Joel holding the shotty like an RPG made me piss. I was offended, but we corrected him. Jed says, by the way, I think the Premier League should tell Sky and BT to fuck off and build their own streaming platform. £10 a month every game on any device worldwide and no 3 PM blackout. I don't understand why people don't do that, to be honest. Malcolm's just joined the channel as a member. Thank you very much. King Rumor says, I got a big plan. Scrap that. I got a plan. Yeah, I got a plan. David says, oh, yeah, I love the weight loss journey. I want to follow what you do. All right, cool. Nice to see that everyone's on board with what we're planning. This one's going to stay exclusively distilled football, but I do have a desire to talk about and show other stuff, and I feel like another channel would be the spot to do that, I think. Notch says, I'm sure most celebrities ask those questions all the time, not completely alien to that level. Yeah, but I hate that word. I don't really like that word, the celebrity word, because I don't feel like that. And I was chatting to the guy that invited us down to the RAF station today, and obviously, being a former service member myself, he said, this must be weird, right? And I'm like, very. I still can't wrap my head around it. It's still weird, going to Old Trafford and stuff like that with it, but I guess it is the reality. So, I want to be able to make sure that I can give people what they want in a way. So yeah, we're doing that. We'll do a meetup before the live show in Dublin, and I'm probably going to do a Patreon meetup for everyone that can make it to the Barcelona game in February as well. But all the rest of that sort of stuff. Mark Stivart says lower league is the reason for the 3 PM blackout. I might do something looking at that actually, because I can't see the data. Where is the data? I think that when there's a game on, there isn't 8,000 people go to Altrincham, is there? Anecdotally, there might be something from lower league clubs. I might be able to go and speak to someone and say, do you see a rise or a fall in your attendances? But I don't see the data. Like, if United aren't on, I'm not necessarily going watching Curzon Ashton. Do you know what I mean? Yagora says, is there actually any guarantee the new owner will invest in Old Trafford and training facilities? No, there isn't. You would assume a new owner coming in to buy Manchester United and the somewhere between 6 and 10 billion that they're going to have to do to get that would mean that they want to make it an appreciating asset. Because if you take Manchester United now at 6 to 10 billion and tank it from here on in, the stadium is ripe and it's rotting. So it's hit that point and it's started to rot. It needs investment or it's going to just completely crumble. The training ground, it could do with investment if you want to consider yourselves elite. If you don't want to bother, it'd be all right. It's fine. You've still got indoor and outdoor facilities and quite a high-tech gym and loads of space. You can still put on a pretty good training session there and do everything that you need to do. But if you want to be considered cutting edge, you're going to have to put some fucking money into it in a big way. ETH says, what did I think of United friendly games? Any standout players? I didn't see the Betis game, which is why I didn't do any coverage of it. I hear it was put, a message Cam, and I said, is it worth me having a look at this or what? And he said no. Lucas says, another Premier League record for us, 306 million owed in transfer installments. What sort of credit card do we put that on? Wow. AGM3 says, the content you've been doing with Joel has been mint. Hope that continues after the World Cup. Yeah, I mean, obviously we've done podcasts for a long time together, but we've never really done any of this sort of match day content the way we have. And I think both of us have gone, actually, really enjoy this. Really enjoy working with him. And it is something that we both want to continue on 5 as we go on. So hopefully we do get a chance to do that, yeah. Kudak Washe says, I'm a City fan, but the way you analyse football is quite impressive. Sounds like a trap, but thank you. Nishan says, big shout out from Stretford. Big fan. I can see the Quadrant pub from my bedroom window. I'm having a cold one after dinner. Am I having a cold one after dinner or not? I think you're having a cold one regardless, mate, looking at the weather in Manchester. I believe there's been snow right across the UK except the centre of Manchester. How the fuck's that happened? Why are we getting clear skies while the rest of the country's doing fucking snow angels? What's going on there? How's that happened? It was quite a cold day today, to be honest. It was still shorts and t-shirt weather, but it was only about 24 degrees. Yeah, you're not buying that, are you? Oh well. It was cooler. It was cooler. Yesterday, which was my day to go out and do some sunbathing, or Saturday, the day to go and do some sunbathing, it was cloudy. It was only 21 degrees. And I know I'm not getting any sympathy from anyone from here. It's just stating a fact. Ocean Man says, beer review, Steve, make it happen. See, these are the fun little short little videos. They're going to be Patreon videos. That's something I want to do. There's just been carnage in my personal life, carnage planning and being at the World Cup. But one thing it has allowed me to do is to take stock, sit back and go, okay, what's the sort of content I want to do? A big part of the planning for what we're going to be doing with Five for the Euros and the next World Cup. And this is how far in advance we're planning it. And I want to be able to make sure that, well, while I'm in planning mode, I might as well plan for my own stuff anyway. So that's what we're going to do. Tariq says, when I analyse a game, always spot on and I say the things I wish a pundit would say. Maybe not all of them. Some of them might not. Where was I? Lost where I was up to. As Kabaz says, do I think there'll be a World Cup slump or nah? Because short turnover. Don't know. Has my time with Rio improved my relationships with United? Probably the opposite. Abhinav says, can you read my chat? Which chat? Where is it? Also wanted to ask, have I watched Ryan Reynolds' Wrexham doc? I haven't watched it yet. No, I do want to. Let me see if I can see your other chat. Love the Army Talks. It's fun. Was that the one? King says, still don't understand the concept of social media celebrities. Maybe I'm too old school. You and me both, brother. Mark says, sorry, but Sky tried to buy United. Why should Amazon be allowed to do so? I think the fundamental differences between the two is that Sky was virtually, I think it might have even been the only live broadcaster of Premier League games at the time, whereas now you've got BT, you've got Sky, you've got Amazon. So I think there's more options in the mix. I don't think it's the same sort of monopoly that it was back then. But one of the reasons that was anti the takeover back then was that essentially one of the broadcasters is getting a seat in the voting when they're going to be deciding who gets to be the next broadcaster or which of the deals from broadcasters do they accept. So there's absolutely a clear conflict of interest in that. John says, has lower league attendances been up while the World Cup is on? I bet not. I think women's football ones might have been, but yeah, you're probably right. Yeah, that's the problem, innit? So it's just, I don't see the evidence. If there's evidence, then there's evidence. But that's one that I might do as a little documentary anyway. Jed says the cost to fix the stadium is about the same spent on Glazer debt. Says it all, really. Literally. Mike says, can you tell me what's happening with United ticket prices as now it's only hospitality on offer? I had no idea. I haven't had a membership for the mid-90s, early 90s. So I have no idea how you do whatever you do with the memberships and buying tickets as a member and all that sort of stuff. Darth Scottish with a super chat says, Stephen, Amazon, Apple all want United to build on their streaming products. Won't be shocked to hear Netflix joins Amazon. It'd be interesting if Netflix decides to go into the live, because I bet the delivery for live is a lot different to the delivery for the sort of archived films and documentaries that they've already got and series that they've already got. I bet it's not massively different to upgrade it to host that sort of stuff, as you've seen with Prime. Prime is a video library, but then they have the section, there's almost always tennis on there live. But obviously you've seen when Premier League is on as well. And the good thing is they can change the banners at the front, so it's just, you click on it, the Premier League's there, and you're one click away. But Amazon will end up like B-Sky B, and the government would stop it. We will find out, I guess, won't we, if they're a serious bid, but that's the one. Jax, has any thoughts on a pre-season, mid-season United games? Only that I thought we looked poor in the one that I did watch. It's one of those. Should we recall Diallo from the loan spell? Personally, no. I mean, I'm not going to lie, it was funny watching Joel struggle on the camel. Hope it wasn't dangerous. Styrax says, I don't want Amazon, I beg. King says, most of those installments are probably for Anthony. There's a good chance of that, actually, isn't there? I mean, Anthony's cost us a right load of cash. Life O'Reilly says, Steve, don't let the lack of snow blag you. It's snowing in Manchester. Oh, is it really? There you go. Amaya says, Tedden's injured. Oh, fuck off, is he? That's annoying. I have super chats trying to find them. Malcolm Booth says, hope this helps. Thank you very much, mate. Every little helps. I think someone said that once, maybe. Brian says, love the content from Steve. Full-time Devil's Days, Paddock and Paddock FC. Football Insight's better than most respectable pundits. That's why I listen. Appreciate the comment. Thank you. Jed says, 24 degrees, Steve. I mean this in all sincerity. Fuck off. I accept your request because I'd tell me to fuck off as well. It is getting cooler this week. I really wanted to do some sunbathing. This isn't helping, is it? This really isn't helping. I did want to do some sunbathing, and poor me, I've not been able to do some sunbathing. I'll stop now. United Way says, it snowed in Oldham, so I don't know how it didn't in Manny. To be fair, mate, it snows in Oldham in like fucking September, so that's always going to happen, isn't it? Knight says, isn't broadcasting and owning a club similar to PSG being owned by Qatar and Qatar owning beIN? See, that's where it's... So if beIN owned PSG, that might be the same thing. But even though it's like... It's the left hand and the right hand, it's the same guy holding them. They're in different hands. Rather than it's beIN holding, two different things like that, I think. Valerie says, we'll be going to Germany for the Euros. That's the plan. Obviously, plans can change, but I think that's one of those. Akabaz says, reckon Rashford and them are waiting to extend till the Glazers are out. No, I don't. I just don't think they've even bothered it yet. Abhinav says it was a super chat. It didn't show up, mate. Oh, sorry, my bad. There it is. Steve, the players were complaining last season having to train in the dark. Imagine when Amazon comes in. Don't get it. Sorry, that's gone right over my head. ETH says, Danny Mills' take on Southgate on TalkSport was hilarious, reminding me of Gary O'Nolly. What's he said? David Dixon says, the one thing United haven't cashed in on is our media library, adding our entire catalogue of historic matches, docs and MUTV content. A subscription on demand service would make a fortune. I've been saying that for years. King Remembered says, Ashley Young ever going to hang out with you? Probably not. I don't think. Probably not. But I do think there's a good chance you might see him doing a podcast with us, and he'll be getting it. Aaron says, HD, how much do I reckon it cost to be in Qatar for the World Cup? Couldn't tell you. We have a friend that's covered ours, shall we say, for us to make the content that's out here. So I don't know. I can't imagine cheap, but I don't know. Jed says, conspiracy, Amazon buys United and pulls United to the Premier League to join an exclusive Super League with Amazon as the broadcasters. You see, that's not necessarily a conspiracy, but that is a factor that you have to think about. And but that's the same with any owner. Any owner could potentially do that. So you've got to wonder what... This is where Amazon or other broadcasters owning the people that create the content that they broadcast is problematic. That's where those issues sort of come. I've just started seeing that the video has started wigging out. That's not good, is it? Is it watchable for everybody? AAB says, I work for Amazon. Bezos is no longer the CEO of Amazon. He moved aside last year. Now he's a philanthropist living the dream, traveling the world. He's still worth billions. Well, fair fucks to him. Because the motivation that's still been turning up for work every day when you've got, like, just so many zeros, it's ridiculous. Must be quite a thing. Andy says, later, Ravel, I had to rewind it. Don't worry about any lag. We tune in to hear thoughts and opinions. Sound is fine. All right, sweet. Robert says, what signing do I think is realistic and gets us top 4? Or can we make it as it is? I think it's got to be a striker, but I don't think we're going to spend crazy money on it. Jonathan says, come back to England. Well, I'm going to have to. Azkaban says, Steve, definitely keep up the weight loss and the mental health openness. Really resonated with the depression struggle. Huge respect. Thank you, mate. Notch says, early days are paying £2 to walk into a stadium like Old Trafford for a game. Yeah, I don't remember it that cheap, Notch. David says they have enough to build their own Super League and all the kits NBA style. Not sure I like a monopoly model. I think that's a lot of people thinking of that one. James says, come visit us in Toronto when the World Cup is on. Really enjoyed the content. Keep it up. It's interesting trying to figure out what content we want to do at the 2024 World Cup, because it's in 3 countries and it's basically the coverage needs to be like the size of a continent. We're going to do so much. I mean, I've done enough flying out here anyway, going back and forward between Dubai and here. I don't understand what it's going to look like, and it's so hard to try what it's going to look like when you've got essentially a whole continent to cover. It's going to be fucking nuts. Divyanko says, hello from India, love the content, United fan, 18 years. Oh, mate, you've fucking dipped out there, haven't you? I mean, I guess you had some good times in that 18 years, but the last 10's been shit, hasn't it? Oh, Bilal says Amazon treat their workers. That was the joke. Oh yeah, I get it. David says, did I hear Pep turn down the Brazil job? Now they're looking at Ancelotti. Not a bad idea, I think. This is it. When people go, oh, who could manage England? What? Fucking loads of people. Literally loads of people. Do you know Wayne Rooney's record was about 28% win rate with Derby? Do you know what Gareth Southgate's with Middlesbrough was? 29. We appointed a man with a 29% win rate at club level. The fucking pinnacle of football or some shit. Daniel says, I think Danny Mills said if Southgate leaves, he walks into a Champions League club. Yeah, no. However, managers that get, you know, like that carousel of managers that are shit and get sacked constantly, they're still getting hired. So I find it mental how they do that. Sean Dyche is free for the England job, says Notch. Imagine. Matry says PSG wants Rashford and they're not shy when it comes to spending. It's true. Jarvis says £2 per kilowatt hour for electricity. How do people in the UK survive? Honestly, I got a letter. I don't know if I spoke about this on a podcast or not. I got a letter which says we're capping the energy bills. I think it was at £2,500. The letter. Can I find it? Let me see if I can find it. I'm just gonna have to do a quick search in there. Just trying to find. Here it is. Oh, I found it. Found my letter. Found my letter from, let's just say, a well-known British gas company. To steal a joke from Jason Manford. Right, it says, I'm on the cheapest tariff, and they're capping the thingy at, can't find the exact letter. I took a photograph of it here, but in a nutshell, they said we're capping the electricity at $2,500 per year. So your price for next year is $3,800, which was new price from October 21. Can we even see that? No, we can't see that. Can you? That's carnage. £3,836 for gas and £2,059 for electricity. I'm sorry, what? What's crazy is, so that comes out at like approximately £300 a month, something along those lines. I only joined them because I thought Empire Power was ripping me off. I only joined them and got a tariff that was £78 a month. I signed up for a £78 a month tariff, and it's now £300. What the fuck? What the fuck? Vic says, if Amazon had rights to all United games, would they need to continue with Prem? That was one of the things that they were talking about with Sky. It was that United, Arsenal, Liverpool were the only teams capable of bringing in, you know, big numbers. No one was really tuning in for Bolton and stuff. JB says it's a GBRS shirt. It is actually. Notch says email, comment, club, Patreon video idea. Notch, expand on that idea. What are you thinking? Life Riley says Southgate must have got the job on the back of his performances in a Pizza Hut advert. It's only merit I can remember he's done. I think he did all right with under 21s, but England under 21s always do bits. So it's one of those, isn't it? Shane says shout out from Cape Town, South Africa. Nice one. Yeah, actually, comment where you're watching from. Let's see where we can get. Let's see who lives in the weirdest place. Middlesbrough would classify as weird, by the way. Rooney at Derby is totally different conditions to Southgate as Middlesbrough. Yeah, massively different in terms of Rooney was fucking absolutely fucked with it and still has a similar sort of record. That's a madness. You know, because if you imagine someone was pitching Wayne Rooney as the England manager now based on what he's done at DC and at Derby, you'd look mental. Yeah, here we are with Gareth fucking Southgate. And we don't need Gerrard in there either, do we? Jed says the frustrating thing is United is entirely self-sustaining. If it wasn't for the debt, we could have built a new stadium and still spent $1 billion on transfers with our own cash. Facts. We've got Rusholme, Netherlands, South Yorkshire, Manchester, Spokane, USA, Nairobi, Kenya, Bury, Stockholm, in Bali on holiday, Geneva, Norwich 0, Jersey, Channel Islands, Oregon, USA, Portsmouth, Yorkshire, Kosovo, Singapore. Why did Capello fail as an England manager? I think he was very strict and the players weren't really digging him. Uganda, Bulgaria, Maine, Ireland. Big Sam's 100% win record, best manager in history. This is factual. Ryan says Stephen Bastards. Don't know if we're talking about the Glazers here or British Gas or a British gas company. Rashford when he asked Neymar about the weather. Do me and Joe own shares in 5? No. Altrincham, Sheffield. Darv says, I live in Northern Ireland and we get a £200 grant for heating, and if we didn't get it, more than likely won't. I'm disabled and can't work. Fucking hell. Like, but the thing is, it doesn't touch the fucking size, is it? 200. Okay, there you go. You can heat your house for 3 days, for 3 week. Crack on. Or you don't remove the fucking cap in the first place, because when they removed the cap, it just went fucking bosh, didn't it? Like, it literally went from under £100 to £300. The entire country just got shagged in one fucking sitting. Like, absolutely fucking shagged in one sitting. And the government just went sound. And when you follow all this way back, the fact that the fucking government's getting absolutely fucking pied up by energy companies. How the fuck is that legal? How is that legal, you bastards? Notch says Steve reads and discusses spam emails, letters. Best one gets forwarded to Ronnie. Diego says just joined. Anything of substance in the news of Amazon. Laurie wrote it, and we trust Laurie and we like Laurie. So yes, let's just leave it as that. Wait, what? AAB says Gonzalo Ramos leaked his porno videos on Twitter. He won't be signing for us any longer. Really? Is that real, or is that just YouTube comments? That's fucking madness. That's fucking madness if that's true. Mike says, I don't know if I'd want Amazon because Bezos is pure business and there'll be no sentimental investment, but all business. We'll be better than Glazers, but not as good as Newcastle owners. You can see that. Azkabaz is looking forward to the upcoming docs. I'm in Manchester. We'll be looking for help with it. Yes, I'm probably going to do another internship program. The internship programs that we've had have been well successful, and a lot of people end up getting kept on. And one thing that's extremely frustrating, but I'm also proud of, it happens in 2 places. It happens with a football team, and it's happened with the production company, is that we get people in, we get them trained up, and then they move on. And it's frustrating because it means that you have to start again and you have to hire new people, and that's a long process. And I get to like the people that end up working for us, but we've recently lost Will to BBC Sport. We lost Sophie to BBC Sport. We lost Patterson to ITV and Channel 4. We lost Rob to Sky, Dom to City, Cam to Manchester United. And it's awesome seeing people go on and get great things on their CV and go on and do bigger and better things from here. But they all started as interns. Every single one of them came and did a short internship program, got some experience, and then those that were great, we ended up hiring either part-time initially or full-time. And those internship programs were really successful. I haven't really done a major one in a while because it takes up a lot of time for us to go and teach those people, and I don't want to bring people in when we can't actually sit down and speak to them and show them the best practices of everything. They're just fucking coming in and doing nothing. It's a waste of their time and my time. But I'll probably do another internship program in the new year. And hopefully the people at Salford, at Manchester Uni, Manchester Met, there's some people there doing the sort of courses that I'd be interested in coming doing bits for us. But literally every single person that works for us, we found by doing this, and we found some brilliant people doing this. So it's something I want to continue doing. And the same thing happens with the football team. Last week, I don't know how many of you saw it, but I'm fucking well proud of this. And actually, I had a beautiful message from David as well, thanking us for the help. And I genuinely fucking loved reading that. It was awesome. We had David Salome signed by a Serie D team that I'm not even going to try to pronounce. And I believe they played in an Italian Cup final this weekend. I'm sure it's a regional cup, but either way, I don't know how the fuck they saw him. But if the football team continues to get people dusted off and move them back into the professional game, I couldn't be happier. And the same with anyone that comes and works with us. What got me into YouTube? Literally, I did a YouTube video when I was in the army in 2006, and it was literally a way to just share the video so I could send it to people back home because there was nowhere to upload videos and like share a link anywhere. And that was the first thing, but it was after I found out what Full Time Devils was doing, and I went and worked with Full Time Devils, and I said, I should probably do my own thing, and that was it really. Jonah says, damn, Ramos is having a roller coaster of a month. Steve says, am I going to any of the games left? At the moment, no. And we don't have any. I don't think I'll be going to the final looking at the prices, to be honest. But we'll see how it goes. Notch says he's Dre an intern. No, Dre's employed now. Connor says, I'm across the corridor up for a pint. What? What do you mean you're across the corridor? Wasn't you that was knocking on the door before, was it? What do you mean you're across the corridor? Do we need an audio guy? I think everyone in the comments would probably say yes, to be honest with you. We're becoming the Massier of TV and journalism. We fucking might be. Honestly, BBC are as hawking us as much as fucking Dortmund are watching them scout reports we do. Fucking bastardos. Jed says, when Amazon show games, then they've never bought the Irish rights, just the UK, so Premier Sports bought the rights for those games in Ireland. Interesting. Steve says, watch Tipping Point the other day. Amazing 3-part series. Yeah, I mean, I'm not saying this because obviously we work with Rio, but Jesus Christ. What an unbelievable 3 series of documentaries it is. Abhinav says, we lost someone to City. Poor fella. Why did that person want to go to hell? He's got a good job there. He's doing graphics and he's doing a good job there too. So fair play to him. Abhinav, what was Trezeguet's story when we mentioned the Ronaldo Brown story? I was quite surprised, to be honest. Brian says, currently paying 44 cents per kilowatt hour for electricity here in Ireland. I thought that was expensive. Jesus fucking Christ. Dow says, I think out of all the ones who are interested, Apple are the best ones because they can drop what's needed to do the training ground and stadium and get some players. Amazon make, is it $1 billion a day? At least in revenue, if not profit. Serini says, will I remain in Qatar till the final? Yes, I come home Tuesday. I get home Wednesday. So I'm not going to the game. Connor keeps saying, I'm across the corridor up for a pint. What do you mean you're across the corridor? You're going to have to fill me in a bit more on I'm across the corridor. All right, joking. What do we make of Enzo Fernandez being linked to Liverpool? Hope he doesn't go there. Good player. Good player. Anything outside of football and docs I want to achieve? Yeah, I want to take the girls away. You know, we haven't taken Blake on a foreign holiday. We did UK because of COVID and money, really. So I would like to take the girls on a foreign holiday. And if we can bring Jay with us as well. He's 16, too cool for school now, but I'd love to be able to do that as well. Janine's birthday's in May. I would love to get him away for that sort of time, I think. That'd be awesome. And a week where or a 2 week where I can actually just fucking not do anything as well, because I get a bit too. I can do 2 or 3 days and then I need to start doing stuff just to keep the voices quiet, I think. I'm gonna do an ultra marathon in 2023 as well, which means I'll probably have to do a marathon before that. I've not been able to do much running since I pulled my calf. This calf has gone 3 times since June, and it's a soleus injury, and a soleus goes when you're doing too much either exercise or too much intensity, and it's not been healed from the last time it went. And I know that was definitely a factor. I probably wasn't allowing it to heal sufficiently, and that's why it was going again. But it's one of those. I had to push. I had to go hard. I think the chances of me joining full para are almost extremely slim. But I'll see what I can do next year. I would love to say joining the army is still a possibility, but not sure. Is when's Tipping Point available on USA Amazon? I have no idea. Glazers' legacy will be that they sold Ronaldo twice, sort of. Jake says he's paid the issue that we lost some talents, not shitting on you, but the venture is small, right? Yeah, we are a small venture. We generally pay above minimum wage, but it's not loads above minimum wage. And yeah, I think most people have had a significant rise. It's not just a rise. I think the organisations that we're losing people to are a great thing to have on their CV. So I understand it. Like I said, it's frustrating, but it is what it is. What's the most important thing for setting up a competent small Sunday league team? Time. I genuinely thought 3, 4, 5 hours a week, knock this shit out. It was a full-time job, and I definitely misunderstood that. Rio getting slapped by a falcon. What a guy. Yeah, if you've not seen that, this vlog was fucking awesome. Jake says, give us an intro to your son. I saw his kid pics on Twitter. If he wants to, I will do. Otherwise, it must be a difficult thing being 16 and your dad being on YouTube. So let him do what he wants to do. Do we have a data analyst for Stretford Paddock? Would love to join the team. Yes, we do. If you're interested, email secretary at Stretford Paddock or hit Stretford Paddock up on socials and get in touch. JT says needs to stretch more to improve injury resistance. There's all sorts that we need to do. KFSA Porsay says, do I ruck like a motherfucker? Yes. Thoughts about Bill playing a keeper in centre mid? He's in charge till I'm back. Let's just say that. I thought it was a wild one, but I think it was just to give McKenna some minutes. So yeah, it's one of those. Amazon documentary about Paddock. I don't think Amazon would be interested, in all honesty with you. But yeah. Chirayu says, travel to the last Champions League away match. When and where and result. Might be doing something with UEFA in the new year. Just have to see if it comes off or not, but then we'll see how it rocks. What did I like more, Doha or Dubai? Dubai's definitely got more going on. There's not a lot in Doha. It's definitely not got a soul or a culture about it, and that's sad. I think we've been trying to find like old buildings. There just isn't any. Everything's brand new, and I find that strange. Dale says, loved all the coverage from you and the 5 team this World Cup. Bring the weather back with you. It's absolutely Baltic here. I'm going to be in for a fucking shock, aren't I? Brian says we might miss another Paddock game this weekend if this weather keeps up. Yeah. MEA called it off. The pitch was fine. The pitch was absolutely fine because it's a 4G pitch. But the walkways hadn't been gritted. So hopefully they've had a chance to grit them this week and then we'll be fine. Otherwise, it might be called off again. And I just want to get games done so we can start catching up on some of those games we've got in hand. When am I next at Old Trafford? Tickets for Burnley and Forest. I won't be going to the Burnley game because it's the day I get back. And I think Janine would boot me in the dick if I go to football rather than take her out. So I'll be taking the beautiful wife out. And then I think Forest will be the first game that I go to. Abhinav says, did I meet any local Qataris at the football academy? Mentioned we didn't find many. Might have seen a couple yesterday when we went shooting, but no, there was no Qataris at the football academy. They were all local kids, but they're all you know immigrants essentially. They're all foreign born. There was Moroccans, Pakistanis, British, Americans, Spanish. Pretty much every nationality you can think of was there, except Qatari. I think Qatari are a massive minority in their own country. And yeah, I haven't had a conversation with a single Qatari, actually. Jed says take her out to the Burnley game. Oh my good God. I'd have to do some house hunting over Christmas, I reckon, if I did that. I don't want to do that. Am I expecting all the players to come? When am I expecting all the players to come back for the next Premier League? I don't know if they'll all be back. It might be different. It might just be a case by case basis. Are you injured? No. Did you play a lot? No. All right, yeah, come back. If they played every week, they got all the way to the final, they got a bit of a knock. I think that might be the move, is just treat it on a case by case basis rather than do a straight rule, I would imagine. Vincent says, does Amazon takeover have any influence beside the money to attract top players? Mbappe, for example, though we have a ways to go before we can get back to a team in the eyes of top tier talent. I think Manchester United, without the shackle of the Glazers on us, would be a massive attraction for anyone. If we got oil money or we got Amazon or Apple money or just some absolute fucking lunatic billionaire who buys the club and says, I want us to win 20 titles in a fucking row, that might make the difference where someone goes, fucking get me in there, you know. What product do we apply in my hair? It's the VO5 gum one. Jed says, I think they could go straight back in, keep the momentum going and rotate them in January, February as required. KFA Posse says, post a wifey date fundraiser. We'll fix it for you. Don't worry about that. I'll take her out. It's fine. Brian says, guess we'll have to wait to keep uploading content on the ISC socials. Great news on the Paddock app being submitted for approval. Yeah, so it's been a long slog getting the app together, but I believe it was submitted for approval today to both Google Play and the iOS App Store. I think Google is expected to be completed almost instantly because they have a very low threshold. Apple can take up to 2 weeks, I think it can take. So we are this close. So then I've got a list of topics for us to start voting on. I was going to be emailing them out prior to me coming to the World Cup, but I decided let's just keep it all within the app, actually, because how I wanted to try and track the I was going to use SurveyMonkey to do it, and actually it wasn't secure. And I just thought, oh, what's the fucking point? Let's just wait and do it on the app. Have we sent Ronaldo home? Ronaldo went home like 10 days ago, 11 days ago, something like that. Which United player was the biggest flop since being acquired in the post-Fergie era? I'll take Sanchez, please. Thank you. Abhinav says, Apple approval process a bit of a pain. No one questions this. I wish this was questioned. Andrew says, don't need it. If we'd hadn't pissed $1 billion up the wall on interest payments and dividends, we'd have been able to outspend City and Chelsea by about 60%. Just need competent owners. Correct. Jed says iOS is notoriously difficult because they want any pay services to go through them. Yep. But we won't be changing the price. The club's just going to make 30% less. It is what it is. We're going to have to turn off the becoming a member through the website for now. And then we'll do it all through the app for a bit. One of the problems we've got is at the moment we use a payment provider called Stripe, and if we use Stripe through the website and a different payment provider through iOS, there is a possibility that, let's say, person A and person B both buy membership at the same time. They could both be allocated the same number because it has to go through a sequence, and it's like a callback thing where you have to go, the person A buys a membership and they get membership number 2001, and then this person gets a membership and then they get number 2002. So it keeps it sequential and you all get membership numbers. It's fucking well complicated, and it was some shit that I never anticipated ever having to learn about or know about. It's absolutely fucking nuts. Dow says, if you have a coat, wear it coming home or the cold weather will hit you hard. I've got to spend a fucking night in London when I get there, and all I've got is one hoodie. Fuck. And then I've got to get to the train station, sit on a train, look at the trains will be warm, and then get the train from Manchester home. Who do I reckon will win the World Cup now? fucking honestly, they're all a little bit underwhelming, aren't they? France didn't really beat England without getting out of second gear. Morocco are pretty banged up. Argentina haven't really blown anyone away. They don't look quite slick, and of Croatia low block their way to get in here. It's one of those, isn't it? Do I have a favourite type of goal? Yes. A third man run or one touch play where there's 3, 4, 5 passes involved. If we were to buy Frankie de Jong or Jude, who would I want to go for? Ooh. Yeah, I reckon. Jude, I think. Liam says, you played as many minutes and were there longer than Madison. That's fucking gross, isn't it? Right, there is a France versus Morocco preview that is out in the morning if you want to check that out. Otherwise, I'm going to wrap it up here, but thank you guys for tuning in as always. If you would like to become a member of the channel, you'll get pretty much most of the same benefits as becoming a Patreon. Or if you'd like to become a Patreon member, we'll be doing some meetups in the new year, and we'll be doing all sorts of other shit as well as extra content. And I'll probably throw it in there in a little bit about what my plans are for 2023. But cheers for tuning in. Hope you all have a good day. Hope no one fucking slips on the ice and breaks a hip. And I'll see you in the next one. Laters. Hey, thank you for watching the video. If you are new around these parts, then don't forget to subscribe. My channel is proudly supported by my community on Patreon. If you'd like to get a little bit of extra content, a Discord group, meetups, five-a-side games, weekly podcasts, behind the scenes, and even an occasional bit of transfer news as and when I get it, then for the price of a pint, you can show your appreciation for the content that we make and get some goodies for doing so as well. Check the link in the description or click the button right here. You'll also find all of my socials here too if you want to follow me on any of those platforms. Nice one.